Alex. What is it we're looking at? What are we looking at?
The
Observations and predictions. So what we were looking at, what was the topic? So it's really, really important that we look at the what is that's being given to us. What are the two nouns that we're comparing?
The CD and the year. I mean the amount told.
Let's try one more time.
CDs and
so where do you get the labels from when you're looking at the graph? Where do you get the labels from? Where would you get the labels from?
Y.
You have the y-axis and the x-axis, and what does it say? What does it say on the y-axis and the x-axis? The years. So the millions of CDs sold and the years that the CDs were sold in. So we're trying to make a scatter plot, and based on that scatter plot, what are we trying to do? Make a prediction. What do you use, Stephen? What do you use the scatter plot for? To find a prediction, to find a pattern in the graph or in the data, right? So here, you guys found your line of best fit. The line has to go through the middle, and based on that, Reggie, what did the question ask us? What was the question about? About which year? Try one more time. Are you sure? No random guessing. Okay. Can you go ahead and read me the question? Where the question starts? You got it.
Wait, read it?
Yes. Louder.
The table below shows the predict.
No, so you're reading question number 1.
Still.
You're reading question number 1.
Oh, I mean, the scatter plot shows the number of CDs and then that were sold from 1999 to 2005. If the graph continues about how many CDs were sold in 2006.
So what is the year that we're asking the question about? 2006. Perfect. So the question is about 2006. So let's go ahead and look at 2006. Okay, so we're going to look at 2006. Now, some students are still having just a little bit of a hard time with reading the line of prediction, the trend line. Reggie, where would my 2006 would be on this graph? What are my x and y label? Which axis is my year? My y-axis or my x-axis? X-axis. And where do you see 2006?
It's not there, but like
all the way to the end. So now how am I going to find out how many CDs did I sell? I'm going to go ahead, 2006, go up to my prediction line, and then go to my, so how many CDs did I sell in 2006? 650
million.
So how many CDs did I sell? 650 million CDs. So now remember, we're trying to get ready for 9th grade, so we got to make sure that our answers are complete. So your answer should be in a complete sentence. If the trend continued, right? If the trend continued in 2006, around 650 million CDs would be sold. If the trend continued in 2006, around, so this is what you guys should have gone for the do now. Now let's look at number 2. If you guys had plotted number 2, you guys should have gotten this. What kind of a relationship is this, Luis? For number 2, if I plot it, if you don't have it, you can look at mine. Then 3, what are the 3 possibilities for association? You can have 3 types of association between data. He's got it. No, Luis can do it. I know he can do it. You can have. How can the two data? How can they be related to each other? Try to make sense with what you have learned before. This is my first option. What is the other option? That wouldn't make sense, right? So it starts the letter P, starts the letter N.
Positive, negative.
Alright, so you're going to finish it off, Valeria? Now what's the third one, Luis? So first is positive association, negative association, and the third one is Luis. We did this yesterday on the practice quiz too. No association. So now say it one more time, Luis. Now all 3 of them. And no association. So we have positive association, negative association, and no association. And what kind of association shape is this? How are the two? What kind of a slope is this? Positive. So the annual cost and age are related in positive. Now, okay, let's have a little interesting conversation. So check this out. My CDs and my year. This is actually true. I looked it up. This is actually true. So look at this. In 1999, around how many million CDs were sold? Try one more time.
1,000.
So that's around 1,000, right? So that would be 1 billion. That would be around 1 billion. In 2006, around how many were sold? Okay, so right now it's actually half of that. So it's around 300 million. Can you give me one business? Can you give me one business that used to be in every neighborhood that used to deal with CDs that is no more? Blockbuster? Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
If you guys were growing up, didn't we all have blockbusters around the corner?
Yeah.
So this is what's happened with technology. Right? We all grew up with Blockbuster. I know, like when I migrated to the United States in 2001, like every Friday or Saturday, you would go to Blockbuster, get a DVD or a cassette, and watch it with your family. And then what happened? You started getting USBs. You could go Pandora. You could go to Netflix. And this. And what happened to them? What?
You got those.
It's called a bankruptcy. It's called a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right?
They're gone now.
They're gone. They said we cannot survive anymore. If you want to think about it, right? For perspective, if you guys want to think about it, think about this. What would happen if we just all of a sudden would have no more 7-Elevens?
Oh, I'd be mad.
I'd go to Circle K.
Wait, what?
What if all of a sudden we just lost? Like you would, like they're a very critical part of our neighborhood, right? Like 7-Elevens are everywhere in our neighborhood. There's actually a landmark in our neighborhood. 7-Eleven. You go everywhere and you're gonna find like a 7-Eleven every couple of. And what would happen if you just lost 7-Eleven? That's what happened. So that's what technology can do. That's what technology.
I'm gonna go with Alex. Like,
Really food.
What? So you guys make a pretty good point. You guys make a pretty good point. But what's interesting is that 7-Eleven has a slightly different role. Like what Blockbuster did is slightly different than what Netflix did. It's not exactly the same, right? You could go to Blockbuster, you could have a conversation, get some opinion on the best movie. So the relationship was slightly different. It's not 100% the same thing.
But on Netflix, they show you how many stars they have.
So somebody would say that the better technology took over, right? Now let's look at the second example. What is the second example about? What are the two things that we're comparing in the second example? Diana, what is this on the second example? What are the two nouns that we're comparing? Excuse me, I can't listen.
Animal cost and age.
The annual cost and the age of? Not age of? What age of who? According to the question.
Oh.
What is the age of? The children, right? Age of, realize this. This is super interesting. Data can be super interesting. So don't try to generalize, okay? Because in our neighborhood, in our Hispanic neighborhood, and even in African American, we don't necessarily associate money with family. But if you look at the country, people stop having kids in hard times. So how much does a three-year-old? How much did a 3-year-old cost in 2003? $10,700 per year. That's how much a small child costs to raise in 1 year, a 3-year-old. How much does a 6-year-old cost?
11,000.
How much does a 9-year-old cost? Okay, are kids expensive?
Well, it's because they're greedy.
No, I think it's just that they have requirements. So basically, in hard times during recession, when I used to work at a big company, I actually had colleagues that would say, so this is now taking the money and bring the philosophy into it. So I would have my colleagues that would say that, you know what, I want to live for myself. I don't want to work so hard that the money that I'm making just goes back to feeding everybody else. So kids are expensive. So I choose not to get married. I'm not going to have any kids. And I can work a little bit and I get to live happily.
And breathe happily.
I don't have kids.
Awesome say.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Is that okay?
No.
Yeah, that's their opinion.
It's their opinion. It's not a fact, right? It's just an opinion. I don't think it's a good or bad. Alright, transitioning back to practice work. What are we gonna do next? Go ahead. Ready? 5, 4. Let's come back together as a class. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Question number 3. Go ahead and plot these points on your scatter plot. And after you plot them, you have to make a line of best fit. And based on that line of best fit, you have to make an equation out of it, right? So again, question number 3, you have to plot the points. After you plot the points, you have to make a line of best fit. And based on that line of best fit, you have to make an equation out of it.